You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hello and welcome to another insightful episode of Unstoppable Actors. I want to talk to you today about all things auditions and leaving a lasting impression. I know it's important to you to figure out what you actually need to do to not only just leave that lasting impression, but also to improve your chances of getting cast from auditions, whether that be in-person ones, online ones, or self-tapes. I know this is important to you because, well, obviously your career depends on it, doesn't it? It's how your career is built, one audition at a time. This episode came from a class that I did inside the Method Actor Circle, which is a monthly subscription to method acting classes and method acting training. And inside the Method Actor Circle, we have a class called the Audition Zone. And this is where this episode has come from, what happened in the February Audition Zone class. And so what happens is our acting students bring to the Audition Zone an audition piece that they've got that they need to either self-tape or do in person or do online. So they bring the pieces, they present them, and then I offer feedback on them, and I share with them what their blind spots are, what their strengths are, what's working. And then based on the blind spots, I share with them the specific exercises that they need to overcome that so they can bring truth to the piece and give themselves a much, much better chance of standing out and getting cast. Now, every single person who brought something to the February Audition Zone class was experiencing the exact same thing with their pieces, with their audition pieces. And that was that they were missing that spark. So they were trying their best to tell the truth. Of course, that's what all actors do. We absolutely want to tell the truth. But the scenes were a little bit flat. And that's what that means when it was missing that spark. And so I recognised that they were all doing the same thing, which is just trying to make the piece sound real and come across as real and natural. And I see this all the time. I mean, I've been coaching actors for coming up to 14 years and I see this all the time. And so I wanted to give you a heads up because I want you to feel more assured, more confident with your audition pieces. And I want you to bring that edge. So there are 5 things that you need in your audition that are going to leave a lasting impression with the casting director, and they're either going to leave you top of mind and you'll get cast, you will see your name on the cast list, or you will definitely be getting recalled and getting down to the final rounds. But without these 5 things, you are simply making it harder for yourself to get cast. So I'm going to run through them and then I'm going to explain what they are, because you have to ensure that you've got all of these 5 areas covered in your audition pieces. And they are vitality, clarity of expression, sharpness, colour, and intensity. So I'll repeat them again. Every single audition piece needs vitality, clarity of expression, sharpness, colour, and intensity. So let's go through what they are then. When I typed in vitality into the dictionary definition is capacity to live and develop. So you have to be able to create characters that are having a genuine experience. So that means not focusing on making the lines sound real, not focusing on making them sound natural, not focusing on trying to make the performance come across natural, because what you instead do then is you play small and it can lead to the lines sounding monotonous. So vitality has to be present in your auditions. So you as the artist are having a genuine experience, which means you're genuinely living. But when you're in your own head, thinking about things sounding natural, being real, that's nothing to do with acting. That's you micromanaging a performance. And when you're micromanaging, you're actually in your head, you're experiencing what's known as mental tension, and then you can't bring truth to the scene, because for you to bring truth, be in your body, in your heart space. So the dictionary definition is capacity to live and develop. And develop is a really important word for you there, because the character should be developing throughout the scene. New moments should be developing and happening. New experiences for the character developing. When you're in your head micromanaging, the development doesn't happen. The character doesn't go on a journey. So vitality is the very first thing you need in your audition piece. The second thing is clarity of expression. So again, I went to the dictionary, and the dictionary definition of clarity is the quality of being coherent and intelligible. So your piece, your audition piece, has to be coherent. It has to make sense. When you're just simply focusing on just parroting lines how you've said them before because they sounded real and they sounded like the emotion was in them, that is not a coherent performance. Again, it's you micromanaging coming from that place of mental tension. Mental tension is nerves. You might not feel like you're nervous, but it's low-level nerves. Overthinking, that's what it is. It's nerves. And intelligible means you have to make intelligent choices that are in line and aligned with the given circumstances. And the given circumstances are the facts of the piece, they're the context. So clarity means the quality of being coherent and intelligible. We want to make intelligible choices and we want to be coherent in how we deliver this. Forget about being natural. Just forget about that. Forget about delivering the lines in repeated patterns of how you've said them before. Stop thinking about them sounding natural, because that's stopping you from having a genuine experience. Now, expression, if we look at the word expression, the meaning of expression is the action of making one's thoughts or feelings known. So again, I'm going to go back to this thing of parroting lines how you've said them before, thinking about things being natural, not being hammy, sounding real. If you are doing that, you are not expressing the character's thoughts or feelings, because again, and I'm going to keep repeating this, you are micromanaging the performance. So clarity means the quality of being coherent and intelligible. Expression means the action of making known one's thoughts or feelings. So we have to make, so clarity of expression, we put it together, we have to make the character's thoughts or feelings known in a coherent and intelligible way. Add that with vitality, which is the capacity to live and develop. So we're delivering a coherent performance where the character's thoughts and feelings are known and we are able to live through this genuinely and develop on from each moment. I hope this is making sense to you. So then the next word is sharpness. We need sharpness in our audition pieces. So if you think about the opposite of sharp, the opposite of sharp is blurry. So nothing's clear. We've got muddled, blurry expression. We don't want that. We want the character's thoughts and feelings to be expressed sharply. They have to be sharp. So if they're upset, it's not a muddled version of being upset. If they're angry, it's not a muddled version or a chaotic version of being angry. It's sharp. Then we also need colour in our audition pieces. This means that the performance is nuanced. It means we don't get stuck in one way of performing it. So if we think about the emotion anger isn't on one level. Anger is nuanced. Anger can be extremely intense and loud, and anger can also be seething and subtle and everything in between. So we need colour in our audition pieces. So if you imagine a colour palette, if you imagine your audition piece like a colour palette, the colour allows us to find the peaks and troughs in the scenes with the feelings, with the thoughts, with the way the character expresses themselves. And again, as I've already said, it doesn't get stuck on one level. So colour, if we take that example of anger, if we were using a colour palette as the example, we might dip into red, a little bit of red for the anger. And that's a particular way of delivering anger or experiencing anger, sorry. And then maybe that changes to black, and the black is a more intense version of the anger. And then maybe we move to yellow, and yellow is anger, but a little bit lighter, a lighter version of anger. Is this making sense? And of course, it's not just with emotions that we need colour. It is also, as I've already said, with the way the character expresses their thoughts as well. It's also with their behaviour. So there's three pieces to auditions in terms of the character. There's the thoughts, the behaviour and the feelings, and all of them have to have colour. Don't get stuck on one level. And then the final word is intensity. So intensity is the strength in which the scene is delivered. Now that doesn't mean it's forced. It doesn't mean it has to be big and over the top, because there can be subtle strength as well as the more obvious strength, but you have to have strength in what you're doing. So what that means really is commitment. So if there's anger in the scene, I commit to it on whatever level that anger is at. So let's go back through these words: vitality, clarity of expression, sharpness, colour, and intensity. We have to have all 5 of those areas covered when it comes to auditions, because all of these lead to the truth. They lead to an honest performance. They lead to you having a genuine experience. When you have a genuine experience, you are creating a 3D character, a 3D scene with depth behind them. And what that does is it takes your audition panel out of the audition and it takes them on the journey with you. They get invested in the character with you. When any of these are missing, you are missing the truth, which ultimately means you're missing a deep connection. So in method acting, what we do is we combine the given circumstances with the life experience of the actor and your imagination. And when we're using those 3 things, that allows us to bring colour and bring intensity and bring sharpness and bring clarity of expression and vitality to the scene. So you have to be honest with yourself the next time you're doing an audition, and look at this objectively, not subjectively. Ask yourself the next time you do an audition, am I checking off all 5 of those areas, or am I missing one or a couple of them? In auditions, when you are missing these things, it's easier for you to be overlooked. We don't want you being overlooked because, as I've already said at the beginning of the episode, you build your career one audition at a time. So you have to have the discipline to work your craft with the specific exercises that are needed to bring these 5 qualities to the surface in your audition pieces. And that's really easy. You get coaching and you get feedback, and you are more than capable of doing that. So the exercises that you need to bring these 5 qualities out are available to you inside the Method Actors Circle. I coach you through them in the Audition Zone classes. So if you want to take this episode to the next level and you want to get that practical hands-on coaching, I'd like to coach you. I want to coach you through these exercises so you know what you're doing at every single audition to ensure they are light years ahead of where you currently are, so you stick in the casting director's mind, because that's really important for where you are right now with your acting career. So if you do want to join the Method Actors Circle, which I do recommend you do, it's very low cost, very, very low cost. It's £27 a month. You've got access to all of the live classes that take place each month. If you ever can't make any, that's fine. They're all recorded. And because they're practical, immersive classes, you follow along with them at home. It's almost like having an acting coach in your pocket. So whenever you need an extra refresher, you simply go back into the portal and you start watching a class and you follow along. So that means all the recorded classes, you can dip into them as often as you want to. And then the live classes, you can come along and get that immersive experience with myself and get me coaching you and with all the other actors as well. So to join it, you just need to go to bit.ly/the Method Actors Circle, or I've left a link underneath the episode for you as well. But just make a note of these 5 areas that you need in your auditions. So the next time you get that audition request, you can look at them and honestly go, have I hit all 5 of these areas? I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors Handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.